Where did you run from?
From Los Angeles.
Oh, okay. You didn't have to come far.
No, we drove actually.
Oh, wow.
Road trip.
It wasn't as fun as you could say.
It is not fun. How do you humanize a character that is so probably kind of evil and has done some...
No, see, I don't agree with what you're saying. Probably kind of evil. He is a human who, like most of the humans in Germany, got pushed and ended up being able to tell himself he was a hero, when in fact, what Nazism does is it ekes out the worst tendencies in people and tampers down the best. And this is someone who, if history had gone a different way, our way would be a very respected, liked, loved person. Someone who might have tendencies where he was able to be ruthless and vicious and etc. that didn't ever see the light of day because society didn't, pull them out. This is what Nazism does. So this is someone who is not evil, but someone who does evil things. We don't think he's a mixed bag like most people. This is what Nazism is. It's what fascism is. If it wasn't, if it wasn't that, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't take over countries, would it? It would only take over the bad people.
So it did seem like John Smith was starting to question the Nazi regime before supposedly gaining some power over the course of the end of the season. Will those doubts affect his new position or where he's going forward?
Well, that's quite complicated to see, because as far as I'm concerned, yes, it should and could, and as far as I'm concerned, the growing doubts that have always been there but quelled deep down from the beginning. He made a decision he felt to protect his family and the country, etc., etc. He made a bargain, a devil's bargain, one could say. And he's been able to hide himself from the consequences because, all of the nasty business can be hidden away, and everyone just lives in this society that they think is clean and orderly, etc., etc. And then it starts to come back and haunt him, through his family, etc. But one of the problems is, and this is what happens in the next season, is the worse things get, and the more he may be aware of that, and the more resentful he might have reason to feel, the more it becomes apparent that his only possible way of attaining safety for his family is more power. So even though he might be doubting the regime, he needs to become, not only to stay as powerful, but to become as powerful as he can, because if he loses that control, then his family are in terrible danger. There's no way down. It's not, you either fall or you climb.
So one of his biggest doubts was with Thomas, and in the end he did make the choice to get euthanized. We don't know what's happening with that, obviously you can't spoil it, but how do you feel this could or should affect Smith going forward? Would it destroy him, or would it actually help him re-embrace his patriotism because Thomas made the right decision for him?
I don't think he's a patriot. I don't agree with a lot of that. I mean, no, I think he... the reason he made the decisions he made was to protect his family. That's the only reason. Doesn't mean that it hasn't, affected his worldview, etc., etc. But that was the reason. His absolute priority is protecting his family. So it would make him, whether he acted on it or not, he would have enormous anger, all of these feelings, but at the same time, what I'm saying is, his only means of protecting his family after that would be to continue, because you don't get to resign. And if you do lose your position of power, being able to kind of bully your way into bending the rules to keep your people safe, because people are onto him. People are onto the genetic problem in his family. There are those waiting to take him down. So even if he doesn't, it's not patriotism that makes him want to climb, it's survival instinct, which makes people very dangerous. You know, the people who don't believe can sometimes be more dangerous. The people who, you know, it's the doubters who get the bomb strapped to them.
As the show explores more about alternate realities and these other worlds, are you looking forward to playing another version of your character?
Ultimately, yes. I mean, this is something I was very, very glad to wait for a little while, because, you know, even a part of me as an actor is jealous that other people are getting to play alternate versions. I'm really pissed off with that. Like, I want to play an alternate. But at the same time, I did appreciate the time to really invest and bed down in the version of Smith that we have, because so the currency doesn't lose value. That you really get to know his story, his beliefs, his world. So that when you do, I've always been a believer that if you spread yourself too thin too quickly, you just lose traction. You know, like any film that has too many flash forwards and flashbacks and alternate, you know, you just think you cease to invest. You think it doesn't matter if she falls off that cliff, because in the alternative reality she probably doesn't. So now the idea of an alternative life in which things panned out differently becomes something he's aware of, and that hovers over him ever stronger, this idea, and it begins to take hold of him privately and quietly, this idea that somewhere, somehow, somewhen, there is a version of the world that worked out differently, and there is a version of him. Yeah, and that's really interesting.
So season 2, came a while ago, almost 2 years since then.
Yes.
Have the events of the real world during that time affected your performance, or given you
affected my life? Have they? I don't know. I mean, the places in which this show you know, crosses over with the stories that are happening in our lives was always there. It was there in 1962. It was there. He didn't write it in 1962 thinking, oh well, fascism is over. He was aware that it is part of the world, and it, you know, our battle with it will continue. You know, I think it's important that we don't knock it on the head too much with, like, you know, sometimes, as has become apparent today, listening in interviews, they've actually had to take away storylines, new suggested storylines, because something's happened in the news that made it seem too on the nose. That's very telling.
Is there any example that you could give?
Well, apparently there was a storyline about building a wall, which they had to take away because it seemed a bit on the nose. And the story was you know. I mean, that's very interesting. The only reason for that is, you know, if I was watching that, I'd just think, oh, come on, you don't need to rub our noses in it, you know. But I think what it's about humans' capacity to convince themselves of a storyline in which they are the victims, or they are the good guys, or they are, you know, the bullied, to an extent that it enables them to commit terrible acts, and it could happen to you.
When you do have to go into an alternate reality and an alternate version of this character, how are you going to maintain, like, who he?
Well, we don't know. I'm not suggesting that's definitely going to happen.
But how would you ever maintain who he really is?
Well, I would. I mean, if it comes to it, who he really is, well, what does that mean, for a start?
Yeah, what does it mean?
I mean, there are certain tendencies. This is what I was saying before, is that people have certain. That's what I think when I approach a part. I like to think I've got a little bit of most things in me, and, you know, certain situations can bring out, you know, this, that, and that's what Nazism does, and that's what communism does. Just brings out certain things. As far as I'm concerned, he has certain innate abilities and capacities that can go in either direction. You might find that someone who in one world or one job might discover that they have a natural ability to murder people and feel fine about it, could just be a great success in real estate for the same reasons. You don't necessarily, that's not making a judgment. I'm saying that actually you never know what little alchemical balance creates success or failure in different worlds. So I think he could be in a different world, and all of those qualities could be there, but they could make a different guy, seemingly. You know, with a huge, great ginger afro.
Thank you so much.